America has a massive gambling problem. This article recently came out on Bloomberg titled Gen Z is moving money from stocks to sports betting in wealth plans. And this article is based off of a survey that was done, I believe, by Betterment. Yep, according to a survey by Betterment. And let's just dive right into it because some of these statistics are absolutely wild. So it says sports betting is increasingly competing with traditional investing for younger Americans' attention. More than a quarter of Gen Z investors saying they see gambling on sports as part of their long-term financial strategy, according to a survey by personal finance platform Betterment. First and foremost, that's wild. More than a quarter of Gen Z investors saying they see gambling on sports as part of their long-term financial strategy. For anyone who has gambled ever on anything, I think it's pretty clear to see why that may be a problem and why that is probably not a good long-term financial strategy. It says 26% of Gen Z investors born between 97 and 2007 said they treat sports betting as a deliberate, ongoing component of their financial plans, according to an online survey of 1,000 U.S. retail investors published Wednesday. That's compared with about 14% of millennials, 6% of Gen X, and 1% of baby boomers. The article goes into more statistics, saying more than half of young investors said they had redirected money originally earmarked for investing into sports betting over the past year, with 14% saying they do so multiple times a month. So, and this is honestly probably the wildest graphic in this entire article and this entire survey. Sports betting competes with investing for Gen Z's dollars. So the orange yellowish bar here is shares of participants who treat sports betting as a deliberate part of long-term financial strategy. And then the black is shares of participants who have directed investing funds to sports betting at least once in the past year. If we look at overall, 12% say that they treat sports betting as a deliberate part of long-term financial strategy. 24% say that they have redirected investing funds into sports betting at least once in the past year. But then Gen Z, and these are some of the statistics that we just went over. This is the concerning part. 26%, so a little more than a quarter, right? They have treated sports betting as a deliberate part of their long-term financial strategy, and then 52% redirected investment funds. And if we compare that with other generations, millennials are in second place in this instance with 14 and 31% respectively. And then it really falls off between Gen X and boomers. Article goes on to say how, it's the rapid expansion of legal sports betting and prediction markets, et cetera, et cetera. There is an example in here of this Robert guy, a 32-year-old from Huntington, New York. He has a Robinhood account for stock trading, but this year has put more energy into betting. He says he applies the logic of investing to sports betting. He approaches it with caution rather than emotion, does research before placing bets, and he only wagers $100 at a time. He understands that he's gambling. I think I'm just smarter about it. He said, I'm not doing it as a hobby. This year, he made $2,500 on bets. I booked a whole vacation thanks to the Carolina Hurricanes this year, which sounds insane to say out loud. State-regulated sports gambling in the U.S. has expanded into an almost $17 billion industry. That is wild. And I mean, we've seen the rise of prediction markets like Polymarket, Kalshi, like the list goes on and on. Even Robinhood is getting into it now with Robinhood Markets. Obviously, you have your sports betting sites, FanDuel, DraftKings, the list goes on and on. Hard Rock, if you're in Florida. This is concerning. And I'll tell you why this is concerning. I've been very clear from the get-go with my stance on gambling. My stance is as follows. I do not care if you gamble, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm a hypocrite because I sports gamble from time to time as well. I'll place a bet here. I'll place a bet there. It is not a large amount. I do it for fun. Sometimes it's a very small amount that I actually place on some of these games, but I'll do it from here to there. Like I'll place a couple bets. Like I have no shame in admitting that. So my problem is not when it comes to what you individually choose to do with your money. It's your money. If you think that sports betting and gambling is going to make you a millionaire, I am sad to report that will most likely not be the case, but it is your money. You can do with it as you may. My problem is how ingrained it has become within our society, especially sports betting, and now these prediction markets, which are slowly taking over. If you look at any game, any sports game nowadays, most of them literally during the game will show you, hey, the spread for this game was so-and-so. It was +7 to begin, and now it's at +3.5. Go bet on DraftKings. You watch SportsCenter, and they have literal segments on ESPN, on SportsCenter, dedicated to showing you, the 5 best bets for the week, or the can't miss bets, or all of this stuff. And my problem with all of it is how televised it has all become. How so many companies are now turning and taking this money from these sports gambling sites and promoting it on their own platforms. That is my problem with it, because listen, as a kid, I like SportsCenter was my go-to. Like every morning before school, turn on SportsCenter. When I come home from school, turn on SportsCenter. SportsCenter top 10 plays. We've all been there. I mean, just a highlight of my childhood. And now, like, I think you can see what the problem is with kids nowadays watching ESPN and SportsCenter and just being exposed to all of these gambling ads. Like it is absolutely wrong. It is 100% wrong. Like there in no world should gambling ads be shown on national TV. I think it's similar, honestly, to tobacco and smoking. Like if you go back to the 60s, 70s, tobacco ads were everywhere. Tobacco commercials were everywhere. These cigarette companies were shelling out millions, if not billions of dollars to promote their product, to promote cigarettes, to promote smoking. There were ads. I was like, hey, if you want to be cool, smoke, right? Not the exact words, I'm paraphrasing, but that was essentially the takeaway from the ad. And gambling is in a very similar spot now. Like just anytime you watch a sporting event, or honestly any event nowadays, just pay attention to how many gambling commercials there are, whether it's, prediction markets like Polymarket and Kalshi, whether it's sports gambling sites like DraftKings and FanDuel. It is everywhere. It is everywhere. You can't escape it. And then also some of the predatory, ways that these gambling sites promote, their product, right? We all know, like hey, sign up today and you get $100 worth of free bets, or hey, sign up today and your first bet is on us, up to $100, whatever it is. It's worrisome, and we're starting to see it in the data, as this Bloomberg article points out, and as the Betterment survey points out as well. Like Gen Z is more and more becoming hooked onto gambling. Like I don't even need statistics to tell me. Like I see it within society, within friend groups, within just how people approach gambling. Like it is very clear that we have seen a large uptick in the amount of people who are gambling. And like I said, like if you are relying on sports betting, if you are saying that sports betting is a deliberate part of your long-term financial strategy, that is concerning. Like that is extremely concerning, because yes, you could be, like a Robert, right, who has won $2,500 on bets. He thanks the Carolina Hurricanes. And this is nothing personal against Robert. There are examples of that, but 98% of people lose money gambling. And in the long term, if you keep gambling, the odds are that you will lose money. The odds are always stacked in the house's favor. Like I said, there are situations where people make money off gambling, and that's usually what gets shown on social media. And so people think that it's easier, or people think that they can replicate that. It's not easy. It is very difficult to replicate. You will lose money. You will lose a lot of money. And like I said, I'm not trying to be a hypocrite. Like I have admitted, and if you go back and look at my other content, I have always said, if you want to gamble, that is your own choice. You are choosing to gamble. You are choosing to understand the risks. It's the same way with cigarettes, right? And smoking. If you want to choose to smoke, if you understand the risks and the health effects, but you still say, hey, this is my choice, I'm going to choose to smoke, that's on you. But as we don't have cigarette commercials anymore, and very few cigarette ads and very few tobacco ads. Like those just don't show up in everyday society. I think we need to take the same approach with gambling. Honestly, like I just think it's become way too ingrained. It has become way too normal to see these ads, to see these betting sites commercialize their product in this manner where it's everywhere. And there needs to be some sort of regulation, because to be honest with you, I don't see this trend reversing at all. Like I think this is only going to get worse, especially with Gen Z and with future generations. Like it's only going to get worse. If 52% of people now have redirected investing funds to sports betting, that number is only going to climb. If 26% of Gen Zers treat sports betting as a deliberate part of long-term financial strategy, that number is only going to climb, in my opinion. So, like I said, if you want to gamble, your choice. I feel like I'm repeating the same statement over and over again. I just want to make sure people understand where I stand. If you want to gamble, that's fine. That's your choice. But if my problem is just how widespread it has become, and how many ads we see about it on a daily basis. It's just become way too much. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to like it, share it with your friends. It means and matters a lot more to me than you may think. And if you really enjoy this video, feel free to check out my other content on this channel. And if you really enjoy my other content, feel free to subscribe. Like I said, it means and matters a lot more to me than you think. Thanks again for watching. Hope you have a great day.